So good evening, or should I say, hey up. Welcome to the Donny Chain Gang once again. Me, Matt Payne. Great to be back, watching the action, putting words to all the action, and bringing you all of the coverage from the legendary Donny Chain Gang, which is getting an even bigger following week on week. Currently 64 riders, and you can see them just over there. And that is our little screen at the side. That has our riders just starting to stack up as the riders come in now. We've got rumours well over 100, which on this Richmond course is a big bunch. And we've got lots of details to bring you about the course. But first of all, let's go to the man who's got the chevron over his head. The man who stitched it all together and has been working with me for a while on this. It is, of course, Russ Downing. Let's see if we can get hold of Russ. Always an entertaining moment. See what he's doing as he picks up the phone. Dangerous, but fun. Now then, Russ, how are you?
I'm alright, just doing the old multitasking, you know, typing away, giving commands on screen.
Excellent, excellent. And it's a big turnout. We were on 77, 78 and counting, so the rumour is we're going to be well over 100 by the time we're done, do you think?
Yeah, I think like quarter two or something when I logged on, it was 117 and signed up on the companion app, so
brilliant.
Yeah, hopefully most of them make it online, clip in, and come for a roll around Richmond.
And here the aim is to go at least 5k at about 2.5 watts per kilo. Is that just so that everybody gets to ride in the pack and get some speed up?
That's it. You know, there's all different abilities here, so it's good. Like I said, it's guys like I said, Martin Ball, who we're lapping him week in, week out, but he's still coming back and he's getting further into the race. So yeah, just want to keep moving these people's abilities on and give them something to smile about. So yeah, it's all working really well.
Excellent, excellent.
There's 128 on the start sheet, so
that's going to be a big old group. You won't want to lose a wheel, will you, on that one? And there's some fast wheels with people like Matt Bostock joining.
Yeah, seen Matt wants to come for a ripple. I think the word's getting out. Brenton was on last week. Baybrook's back on, so I think everyone's fancying a little bit of the action. Tracy was very complimentary about the gang. Said it was a great rip up and a bit like a ramp test. He said getting harder, and that's, you know, all these guys are going off from the start, but there's no need to. We've got 15k, a 20k rip up at the end, and you can get all the work out there, so it's great.
Yeah.
105 we're on now, Matt. So
I better let you get. Yeah, I better let you get back to herding them all into one start line, and we'll bring everybody the details. Of course, we'll catch up. I think with one of the Downing brothers a little bit later on. I think we're going to give you a chance to get your breath back though halfway round. So we'll see if Dean can be quite so coherent when he's part way round the course.
Yeah, give him a ring at top one of the cobble climbs or something. Let's listen to him breathing hard.
Excellent, excellent. You never know what we might achieve. Excellent. Thank you very much, Russ. So Russ Downing there, just giving us a quick heads up. Let's show you what you've got in store out and around the circuit first of all. So let's bring you the map first of all. This is the Richmond course, and you've got a little bit of a run in before we start. You go along from the top. The orange dot in the centre is where the line is. You go through the sprint line. You drop around and then drop down the hill on towards the lower section, so through the sprint lines, then up onto the big climb of Libby Hill before bringing yourself back around. There are 3 major climbs on here. 2 are part of the main challenges, and to give you an idea of why we talk about this as being a hilly course, here we go. This is the profile, and as you can see, big plateau on the top, which is where the main streets are. The green section that the course goes through out in the wild to south side of the city, just before you hit the river. You drop down into it, which is very, very fast. You can super tuck if you've got the ability to do more than 58 kph, and it's more than a 3% decline on the way down. And then along the flat before climbing up Libby Hill for the first of the hills, up again for the second climb. The third climb though, the run back in, isn't a time climb, but it is the run in towards the finish line, and we will be finished on the finishing line. Remember, 36k in total. Let's get you the distances up before we get out onto the course. The profile of the course, basic routes basics out there, 16.2k in terms of length, which is 10.1 miles, climbing 142 metres every single lap. The leading is only 500 metres, which is just a third of a mile. And for those of you collecting the points to make prizes and make better bikes, you're looking at 320 XP points on there. So let's jump straight across. Let's see just how we're doing. A big bunch of riders now up onto 108. And the most important thing to tell you, we're sponsored by beer. What else would you want on a Donny chain gang? So Bagco Brewing and Distilling Company are our sponsors for tonight. We've got some spot prizes that we're going to be allocating out on the Facebook page. Make sure you join that group as our riders are all setting off from the line. Let's follow one of our regular riders out on the course, and let's see who is going to be out there. So let's see who is going to be riding. I think we'll try and see if we can join a new rider. This is Jamie Blythe. Jamie, one of our female riders, jumping in with this group. And it looks like Jamie well away at the moment, just sitting nicely in that group. Looks like we've got Julie Leonardo as well in the group. Looks like Chris Lawrence has made it as they head out. So a 2.5 watts per kilo max speed is what's being called for by Russ. Looks like Sonia Inslee's in here for the Bolsover and District, as well as Julie Leonardo, and they are definitely coming in the strength. We'll see if Maddie is in here. Looks like Brian Smith is in this group. So well, we're going to take a look up on our camera shot. So here we go. Let's see if we're going to get a decent shot of these riders as they come through. So let's go and cut across to the main screen, and let's make sure we get a good look at these riders as they come on through. So hopefully this group is going to go out together. Let's jump in with Brian Smith if we can, and see if we can get a picture of Smithy going in and through. So we're just up above Brian at the moment, and we'll take a little bit of a look at him side on, hopefully. Just get a good look at Brian. Brian with definitely the facial hair to match the real life Brian. I know he's been giving the razor a bit of a miss, as like myself, currently just waiting to see what happens in terms of events as our riders go in underneath the line at the moment. So we're going to take a little bit of a zoom up and a zoom out and see if we can get a decent look at these riders coming through. So at the moment, Brian kicking out 185 watts, 95 revs per minute. So just moving up into the 200s to sit at 2.3, and not too far away. We've just seen Martin Bob, one of the regular riders. Looks like Matt Taylor's in here as well. Dean Downing definitely in and riding. We know Dean, I think, currently sitting in that green jersey of Sprint leader as our riders go down through the course. And you can just see at the top right of your corner, and that is the map currently set in a 3D setting. If we take this across and zoom out, as you can see, our riders currently making the way from the line going out and across the top in through that map. So at the moment, the riders are making the way up and over. So they make their way around. Lots of our regular riders as well as some new riders in there, and great to see some big names, people like Matt Stevens in. Matt, of course, catch up with him on his Instagram feed. Bryce Smithy, the coach from Eurosport, the commentator extraordinaire, and of course multinational road champion is in the group as well. Russ and Dean Downing both in today. Cameron Fraser, we've got Alex Baber, we've got Matt Bostock, definitely somebody to watch out for as the riders head up through town, and the cameras are just trying to keep an eye on this group as it comes through. So let's see how they're getting on as they go through. This pack are looking good at the moment, and it certainly looks to me like it is holding it together. We'll draw up our map view. That's top right hand side, and if you want to be able to do this yourself when you're on Zwift, dead easy, click on the map. You get 3D view, which is what we're on now. You get a zoomed in map and you get a zoomed out map, and that means that you get a good look. Now all this group holding nicely together, and really interesting to see there's a lot of people in here who we've not necessarily seen before or who have been improving. So we're just taking a look. Looks like we've got Charles in here. It looks like Dan Evans is in. He's going to be looking for a better week, when basically he got it handed to him on a plate by pretty much everybody. Had a big double day. Andy Horse is in here. Horse Talks, always a great follow-up after the chain gang on Thursday. And great to see Andy looking so lean as well. Andy, you must be on a diet. It's either not or you're so hungry at the moment that you are trying to lose weight by basically not doing much eating, because he's going very well. We can see probably Andy in towards the end, but whether he'll make it quite over these climbs, he's definitely a shadow of his former self that I've known for a few years now. We're going to have a little look further up the road. Looks like John High's in here as well. Just seeing Brennan come in and through. There's lots of Team Sheffield riders here. Looks like Luke Stone's in here, famous for the no hands warm up, and looks very, very good. The riders are looking good. Looks like Farrell is in here as well. Carl Johnson riding. Chris Lawrence, the organiser of the Barnsley Crit, what was to be the National Crit Championships, making it in onto the chain gang. There is a rumour that Martin Dainty might have made it if his ZX Spectrum was able to fire up fast enough and to get on in here, but as we watch Brian nicely ensconced in this bunch, so a little bit of a jump about and see who's riding well at the moment. So just jumping down in with Chris Gale. And Chris Gale's looking like he's putting out 204 watts. A nice low heart rate for that, only 116 beats per minute. He's going well as they go through. Looks like Glenn Turnbull's riding from John Smith's here. Smithy from the out of the saddle as well. Oxenham always prevalent, and good to see him looking good as he makes his way in along. Looks like Brennan's here, Orrell is here, Spencer Hill is here. Barry Clay, definitely saw him on the start line. Always good to see Barry in the action. Keith Fox from Ireland. Adi Dent, the triathlete's here, although hopefully not riding the tri-bike as these riders come along. Just we're keeping an eye on these riders. Looks like Chris Lloyd is just dropping towards the back of the group there with the blue, white and black bands across his back. The beacon focusing at the moment on Russ with that beacon, and the aim is to get to at least a 5k with the riders all together. So rolling nicely in the gang at 40 kilometers an hour, and it looks to me like everybody's in well in there now. Let's have a little look. We've got Burke in this group. Let's see if we can take a quick look at Burke's side on. Just have a little check and just see if it is a certain Steve Burke. I think we could well have Ash Wood in here. We're going to have to take a little bit of a check. I'm just trying to have a little look for Andy Hawes as this group comes in and through. Andy in the white jersey, he's in this group. Andy kicking out 250 watts, 2.9 watts per kilo. Now let's have a little check up towards the front of this group as we move our way up through the group. It's certainly very, very quick indeed, and nothing to choose between our riders. If we take a little bit of a look up on the top of the map, one very close together bunch as they roll up through the circuit, and as you can see, just about to go around to the right hand side of the roundabout. Now this circuit is a tough circuit. There are some serious meters on here, and there are some seriously steep hills, but they're not super long. The first one is reasonably long. It's going to take riders, it depends on how well they're going. It can take 3 minutes from the very start of the climb to get up to the top, but you can do it as a consistent, sustained effort. The second one is a sprint. Suits fat lad like me. We can really get the power down, and anybody who's a ruler will be looking for the second climb, but not necessarily the third climb, which is back up to the line. One man who may well do so is Karl Kopinski, because Kopinski is definitely one of those riders who we know can be right up there in at the finishes. So we're watching Barracliff on his way through here, looking like he's nice in that, just a little bit further back. Looks like Halifax Imps have got Mr. Bramin in here. So Bramin, that's Tom Bramin of the Halifax Imperial Wheelers, one of the riders whose clubs I always used to love riding their time trial. The mountain time trial, it was I think I managed to actually scrape into the top 10, but that was in a day before quite as many pizzas and beers as I've got on board at the moment, that's for sure. So this big group of riders still looking very, very good. Still basically all together, as you can just see. You can just see Russ actually rolling up towards the front of that group. We'll just take a little bit more of a zoom in as the riders come through. So Tom Bramin of the Halifax Imps, mountain time trial heading up over the Pennines is always a favourite of mine. Just having a little bit of a look through for more of our riders. Looks like Mark Thwaites is in this group as well. Mark, another regular, brother of Scott, and arguably the better looking one. I'm not so quite sure whether Scott would agree with that, but Scott proving to definitely have the legs, that's for sure, as these riders continue to make the way along the straights here of Richmond. Still on top of the plateau, no major gradients at the moment, and all these riders just rolling along. So Matt Stevens and Matt Bostock, all the Matts going to be picking out the riders that they're going to be awarding beer to. The Bad Company Brewing and Distilling Company are the sponsors for the prize spots tonight, and based down at Dishforth Airfield. Dishforth Airfield, a familiar venue for anybody who's been racing races around the North Yorkshire area for a long time. We've gone down the side of the airfield before on times. We've gone around the airfield in the crits, and we've had a number of crits on that airfield over the years. Not super hilly, but definitely a great base to have a ride from, and definitely home of some of the best beers going, and even now with a gin. Not that I should tell anybody that, because of course it's not cool to drink honest gov. I've got purely OTE with me today, and a little bit of Grand Tour coffee to fuel me up throughout today's commentary. I want to say a massive thank you to Grand Tour coffee, the only thing that keeps me awake if I'm not careful some days, to Halo Wheels, the wheels that are underneath Russ, and keeping them rolling, to Pinarello, and Russ today will be riding on his Pinarello. I think it's his 12 he's riding on at the moment, P12. To OTE, keeping everybody fueled up, and to Wahoo, who've got the kit underneath the bikes for Russ and Dean, both out on the circuit at the moment. To HMT Hospitals, patching everybody up if needed, and of course to Mallorca Cycling at home, that we'd like to go to when it is maybe a little bit more inclement weather over here and you want to get some serious miles in. At the moment, not necessarily the easiest option to do. So lots of riders in here. Just taking a little bit of a look back here. Looks like Jamie Blythe just sitting in near the back of the group with James Allen. Allen is definitely another of our regular riders here, and looks like Allen, we know he's going to be on Smart Bike, just sitting at the back here and just rolling along nicely. So it looks to me like Alan's doing his classic sit at the back and roll his way through. Just a couple of seconds off there, I think, is going to be this is going to be Julie Leonardo. So Julie Leonardo just trailing the back wheel here, just glued on the back wheel here. This is going to be Victoria Chavarria, the Costa Rican rider in the green, as the power-up's been put in there by Julie Leonardo. So Julie in the white there, using that aero to try and get back onto the back of that group. And looks like Vic is going to have a work cut out to stay with it. Just sitting at 1 second, just see Vic in that green there. This is early morning over in Costa Rica at the moment. So Julie is currently in the evening over near Bolsover, and as you can see the road's coming up. It's Vic who's just going to come back along the side there of Julie as they make their way in through. So Julie Leonardo and centre screen at the moment, just rolling away on and looking pretty smooth on the way through. So we're now on that descent. This is where the group is going to pick up speed, and this is where you're going to need to see people like Vic and Julie start to make some ground on that group in front. 13 seconds up to our next rider, and this is going to be James Allen. Allen, we know, can get on it. That Tron bike doesn't come for nothing. We know he's got the ability to ride very, very strongly up at the front of the group. We're going to see if he's going to be able to kick forward from there. Looks like Crehan just near the back of this group. It looks like Jamie Blythe is not too far away from them either. Here's Jamie in this group as well. So good to see Jamie just a little bit in front, I think, at the moment. So just watching Jamie there in the blue, just have a little roll around there, just have a look as she goes down the side there. So Jamie going through in good company there with Dean Downing just sitting behind. So looks like Dean on his way through. Let's see how Dean's doing. I'm going to jump in over to the top of Dean and take a little bit of a look. Let's see if we can get in touch with Dean. Always good to see how the head of down in cycling, one of the main men are doing. So let's see what Dean has got to say for himself. We'll see if he can talk and watch his heart rate rise as he starts talking and pedalling at the moment on this run-in.
Hi mate.
Hi Dean, how are you doing?
I was just typing and I've got dropped.
You have got dropped. We are watching you at this moment in time. And we're watching your heart rate starting to go up. Currently kicking about 152. Don't drop your Watso just because you're talking to me. You look to be in a little bit of a group at the moment, in some good company there, because you've got Alan with you as well, haven't you?
Yeah, James Allen's been helping out with some of the riders at the back. I was texting Matt Stevens because his meetup app isn't working.
Oh no!
I looked up and the group had gone.
Wow! Schoolboy error! Schoolboy error! Well, that's not like you. So at the moment we can see you glued to the back wheel of Mr. Allen, who has got a thumbs up, I think, there for pacing you forward. Behind you, you've got Jamie Blythe in a little group. Looks like Mr. Crehan just a little bit further back. But the gap is opening up, isn't it?
I'm hopeful I'll wait for him to get back on.
Yeah, it's bear in mind your brother's up there. It depends how much you've upset him at the moment. So getting some help here. Looks like Jamie Blythe just going through to the front in the blue there in front of you. How are you doing heart-wise? I know you've been pushing up your FTP. Are you feeling strong today?
Not anymore, I'm not. At the beginning. Yeah, my max heart rate is 170.
Right.
I'm 20 beats off at the minute, so I had to go pretty hard then.
Yeah, and not helped by me talking to you, so maybe we ought to let you get back to pedalling on the back of this group before it hits the climb.
I think we might be alright in a minute when we get to the climb, hopefully.
Yeah, just heading into this underpass, it certainly looks to me like that group just up in front. We're just going to try and take a little bit of a look up, the advantage of having the cameras. I mean, to zoom around. That gap is coming down, currently sitting about 5 seconds off the back of that group, so that's definitely doable.
On the text. I said I got dropped. No comment.
Yeah, that sounds about right. It's coming down, mate. You're about 3 seconds off. Keep that effort going, and I think you're going to be back onto the group just in time for them to kick the way up over the climb.
Yeah, but we'll be all right. So, been doing this gang for about 4 weeks proper now, and I really enjoy coming to it every Tuesday and Thursday. Works pretty perfect for me with my day job, being busy in the day. So yeah, it's great to see all the names coming back week in, week out.
Yeah, definitely really good, isn't it? And just seeing you making contact now, making your way in and through as we come up onto the climb. So you're going to need your breath back. Let's catch up with you in a little bit. We'll keep an eye, and we're not going to touch you if you're in there at the kill, though. Don't expect the phone to ring if you're sprinting for the win, mate.
Yeah, you've got a good knack of timing. Give you that. Cheers,
So,
Matt.
anyone would think we were watching. Good luck, mate.
Bye.
Cheers. So Dean there out on the circuit as we watch him make his way through. Now what you can see here is that Dean hasn't rested as he's gone into this group. And what he's done is he's decided that he needs to be up with the group up near the front. You can see the power-ups coming in, lots of arrows being put in, lots of feathers going in. And let's just jump up from Dean here. As you can see on the top right of your screen, already about halfway through this long string of riders. And you can see Dean continuing, currently 5.1 watts per kilo, sitting at 150 beats per minute. That's 20 off his maximum, 350 watts coming out at the moment. And keeping a nice smooth cadence as well. Nice pedal revs there, about 95. So the leaders up over the top and through the line, a 110 for James Doxley. Doxley now Elton a regular on the hill climb, so very, very fast is Doxley. And looks like Coyle Cogan's up there. Dan Cogan back again. Cam Fraser of a Non Sigma Sport. Lee Allen's right in there as well. Looks like Russ is up in about 13th place. And I think we're going to get a bit of a regroup as we come in and through. With the call coming from Russ just to let everything come back together. Craig Herring just going through. Millie's going to sit in this group. Millie going really well here. Let's have a little bit of a check to see how Millie's stats are going on. So she rides through. So Millie here in the green on the blue Trek bike, sitting on the wheel of Shelley Charsley. Shelley based in Wales, of course, wearing a continental skin suit. What else would we expect from the main man for Continental here in the UK? But Millie just on her way onto that wheel, and she's going to be loving these climbs. Very strong rider. And the pleasure of riding with Millie on the Downing Cycling chain gang and club runs, and certainly a great strong rider. Now just going to take a little bit of a focus at another rider that I think has snuck up on some people's radars here, and that's quite simply, although he can't seem to keep it in a straight line at the moment, let's see if we can just follow him as he makes his way down on circuit here. Looks like he's doing anything but being on the thing. So going off-road at the moment, a man who should have plenty of time to practice his skills. Takes a shortcut round the corner there, and that is definitely a new rider for many. Well, some people say that he's related, or he may even be the artist who folds paper in Wakefield. Some people say he's actually related to a Blue Peter presenter from the 1970s. Other people, of course, say he's the latest neo-pro with the amount of time he's got on his hands and could be heading for the World Tour. What we can say, Andy Singleton, you need to keep it on the road, mate. It's no good just getting faster and quicker as we watch Andy make his way up here at 4.5 watts per kilo. He's on a bit of a mission here, so after all that dodging, maybe he is the fabled love child of Valerie Singleton from the Blue Peter program in the 1970s. So look at this, through that climb, and at the moment Singleton weaving his way up. We're going to take a little bit of a look up. I think we can just see Cooper just in front of him. I think Hines not too far away. Lots of people putting in a kick here because this group is well and truly splitting with this rolling circuit. Let's take a little bit of a look out on our map. So let's take a little bit of a scroll out, and as you can see, people are scattered all over. Russ up at the front, well clear of that sprint climb, and it looks like Singleton sitting in the middle of this. Marthwaite's trying to make his way up. And just seeing the Stevenson from out of the saddle here as Jess Evans holding the women's jersey is not too far away from Clay Marthwaite's. And this is a nice group that's forming here, but we're going to see what the gaps are. Matt Manicky at the moment, I think he's going to be 9 seconds or so in front. And let's move our way up through these groups, and let's see if we can get ourselves back up near the front of this. Stanley Land's bound to be up near the front. He's very, very strong. Ryder Handley's up there. Now here's Russ. I think Russ is on the final climb. Yep, here we go. They're just moving onto that climb. It comes up, as you can see on your screen. It's going up onto this big section of climb, and this is where the riders are really going to have to work hard to stay together if they want to stay into this group. They're going to have to work out. It's starting to regroup at the front, but at the back you can see a long string of riders. We scroll around from Russ and start heading backwards. So here we go, just watching the guys behind. Yeah, it certainly looks to me like this string is really starting to struggle. And who's the man who's ripping it up on the front here? Well, it's not Chris Hilbert of Pines, young Chris Hilbert. I'm not going to be able to say this for much longer. He's getting all the by the minute. But up in that front group, Rob Copeland is in this group. Look at Rob go. Yet again, Copeland showing out why he's such a skinny whippet. Based in Sheffield Hallam, and so he's right up there. It looks like Bostock is alongside him. You see Bostock in the blue there of the Canyon DHB team. Doxy is in this group as well, and Doxy steadily working his way up. Dan Cogan. Now I think Cogan was one of the riders right up at the front here, so let's have a little look. We can scroll up above Cogan and get a proper look at him here in the blue. Non-Sigma, it's his teammate coming through, and that is Fraser. All these riders look like they're just in danger of pushing on, and just looks like the pressure's on him now. Bostock is just easing off a little bit. I think we're going to see who's pushing on at the front. So Bostock just sitting up a little bit here. Looks like Joe Jackson working his way up here, the youngster from Lincolnshire. Up in with this group. Fraser's going on his way through. Let's see who's going to come through. This is the UCI course. Let's see who comes through first. It looks to me like Fraser's got the fastest time, 22:51, and we're seeing a snow of best time setting PBs around this course at the moment. So it looks to me like the guys are just taking it a little bit steady. Neil just moving his way up there onto Alan's wheel. And Alan at the moment just tapping along at 3.6. I think he's going to get the hard word from Russ if he's not careful. Jackson coming through, Downham coming through here. It certainly looks to me like Kogan is in this mix. Let's take a little look at Kogan, see where he is in here. Kogan just rolling back through this. We're going to let this group come to back together. I think we're going to see. It looks to me like this group is one elite group at the front. Let's take a look back from where they are and see what's happening behind. So you can just see the group containing Russ Downing just in that group there. He's got the yellow chevron up above him, and looks to me like this group is going to sweep up the front leaders here. So the pack with Russ on its way through, but the riders are scattered behind. So we're up on the plateau once again. We're going to take a quick look through and just see where all these riders are as they make their way around. James Allen was chasing on. James got himself in there. Let's see if we can go across to James. So James looks like he's in this. Looks like James Allen has made this group here just in the middle of the pack on his Tron bike there. I'm going to take a little bit of a scroll around as we go around. You just see Russ there with the flat cap on. And this group, it's a pretty compact group, but remember we started off with 128 riders. We sure aren't at 128 riders. I'm just getting a message from Dean. He's going like he's not having the best of days. Dean just putting the message through. Not a good day. May well be. He's just gone just too hard on his way through to try and get back onto this group at the front. He made his way up there. Let's see if we can find Dean out on the course at the moment. It certainly looks like he's pushed back. Looks like Tom Bowering up in this front group. Carl Kaplinski's in there. Matt Stevens is in there. The next group are going to be being led, I think, by Jess Evans. Yep, here we go. So this is Jess who's leading the chasing group behind. There's some 19 seconds down, and you can see this group with Jess Evans. It looks like Clayton and Barry Clay in this group. 24 seconds back then to Mark Thwaite. So let's see if Mark is in a group here or whether he's on his own. It looks like it's literally just the two of them, and there are riders scattered all the way around this circuit. Going to try and drop him back here. We're a long way back now. We're well over a minute behind the leaders. It looks like Cooper's in this. It looks like the origami expert that is Andy Singleton, or is that just rumoured that he's never seen in the same place as the Wakefield based artist who's in here just making his way through. Hopefully he'll be able to keep it on to the tarmac as Singleton, the fame going to his head, the infamy of being the off-road rider riding on those pavements, clearly got the bunny hop skills to match the speed and the legs, sitting in this next group down. And he can take solace in the fact that this group that he's in, he's got Dean Downing in here, so it looks like Dean, we're just going to keep a little bit of a check through. I don't think Dean's in here. We're just keeping on looking down. We've got Millie Skinner in a group here, sitting with Shelley Childs here. It looks like Craig Herring is sitting about 17 seconds back. Luke Stone on a good ride here. Luke Powerhouse, Luke Stone there, making his way down. Genther's a little bit further back. Looks like Mark Swift. Mark, a great rider when we've seen him out and riding on the sections, of course, where it is maybe a little bit flatter. Meanwhile, Andy Hawes sitting with Brian Smith here. So good to see Horsey and Smithy together as they come through. I'm not sure we can get hold of Andy. You never know. We could always have a quick go, see if we actually manage to catch up with him. Let's have a little look. Just getting message through. Looks like Dean has stopped, not having a good day at the office. So Horsey, you're definitely going to beat Dean today. As Andy Hawes, looks like Wayne Elvin's in this little group here. Brian Smith is in here. Timpson of Halifax Imps a little bit further back. Looks like Blythe is sitting a bit further back. And I'm going to have a little bit of a look through. Looks like Borelli is here. So Borelli just in front of the next group, 36 seconds back. This is going to be Victoria Chavaris, the rider in the green here. So Victoria riding there, got company once again in the shape of Johnson, and then a little bit further back Cree has there. Looks like Julie Leonardo just in no man's land. There's Bolt not too far behind, and Crehan just in front. as we see Julie just making her way through, fresh from a Peak District non-holiday, making the most of the local terrain and getting out of walking and mountain biking. Time spent recently, but maybe that all that mountain biking just slowed the legs off just a little bit. So Timpson a bit further up, we're going to get ourselves right up to the front of the course, though, see what actions are going right up at the front, because we're going to be keeping on having a look out for Mr. Bowring. I think he's right up at the front. So Bowring right up there, just nicely keeping an eye. Here we go. Bowring in this group, Kogan's in this group as well. Just take a quick look up with the helicopter here. See if we can watch the riders coming through. Looks like the message board. Super busy, certainly is. So here we go. It is looking like the message board is keeping busy, keeping everybody informed on the way through. We're just taking a look at this big bunch. It has reformed nicely. We're going to take a little bit of a zoom in on the map. Let's see how close this group is together. One rider, I think, just up the road. Joe Jacks is chasing hard here. It looks like Matt Stevens in this group now. Who is going to be right at the front? Is it Kogan who's gone for it here? It is now. Dan Kogan has gone for this. Dan, who is a regular contributor rider for Sigma Sport. You'll see some of the press out there, put plenty of articles out. If we take a little bit of a look at Dan here, big beard, but he's got a definite full lockdown beard going on here. Kogan currently third in the KOM at the moment. Have a look at 23rd Street. He's I think that's going to be Fraser who's there, but Kogan we expect to be right in the mix. And looks like he's fifth on the sprint sort of well. Bostock not featuring that just yet. The King of the Mountains third for Kogan, and Kogan sitting in 13th place. So here we go. Just taking an eye. Kogan currently sitting at 9 seconds, just extending that gap. That's not going to stick though. Look at the size of the group behind. We're going to try and pan back and get a little bit of a closer shot behind him, because you can just see that group is coming. 9 seconds is a fair bit of ground to make up, but it's a wide bunch all the way out and across, and it's Russ Downing who is leading the charge. Chris Hilbert of Sure Pines at Cycling team right up at the front there. Good to see Hilbert working well here. So it is Thistle himself who's coming through. Mr. Prickly making his way up is the shape of Hilbert. But Bostock is in here as well, and he's not going to let the youngster Chris Hilbert have it all his own way. That is definitely going to be the case. So keeping an eye here on Mr. Bostock. We'll just take a little bit of a look up as he weaves his way, moves up into second position, then just gets rolled around there by Doxy as they come through. So at the moment, it looks to be a real elite group here. Stevens is in this group as well. Kirkpatrick, none of our regulars in here. We're just taking a little look at Stanley Lan in here. Hamley's in here as well. Kapinski's in there. Russ Downing, of course, in here. And so you can see from your screen, anybody seeing Mr. Dainty will only see him in a pixelated form, probably 4 pixels across and 2 pixels high, a bit like an old Mario Kart game. And I'm not sure Martin's made his way into the group. Good to see though, one of our regular riders coming back. Can he get back on this group? This is Rob Kennison. Kennison, the Finnish manager for the Tour of Britain. Now you see the polka dot gloves he's wearing. True fact, you've got to set a King of the Mountains fastest time. You've got to hold that King of the Mountains time up to get that out on Zwift. If you've done that on there, gone past the go, you get those. You don't get them very often. You had to be in pretty much at the start of Zwift to be able to actually get hold of them, because these days it is an incredibly hard thing to do. But Robert Kenson, or Roberto as he is on Zwift, it is up there. And riding nicely here with Mr. Brown, but they're going to have to close this gap down behind him. Matt Manicky is currently 31 seconds down. Jess Evans, 1:22 here. Chris Gale, 2:09. Lee Allen at 2:10. Harrison's even further back, and that gap is opening up in front of them. So if we take a little bit of a look up from Kennison here in that Lecole jersey, If we can just zoom out as we go up, we're going to take a little bit of a look down the road to see how far away that beacon is. Oh my, Rob, I think your days are done, mate. You need to go calling at the Costa van on the way round now. Fuel up a little bit. Remember, Grand Tour Coffee are going to provide you with some kicks, because I'm sure you've got some of that at home. And he's trying to get into this group. And if we take a little bit of a look back from Mr. Brennan, who's up near the back of this group, we can't even see Kennison. He's not even coming into shot now. That gap has opened up 31 seconds, and that is the power of the bunch. But this group is splitting. Ryan Williams in this group, I think, just near the back here. So I think Ryan Williams is just about holding on. Looks like Stevenson from out of the saddle is in this group, just about. But we're now on this descent down. It's a 5% down. It levels up, and then there's a further descent again. And you can just see this pack is moving quickly. Currently doing 70 kilometers per hour. And the smart riders are going to be down in that tuck as soon as the gradient drops. 65 kph, and at the moment Russ kicking out something in the region of about 400 watts when he's putting the power down in between, just choosing to back off those pedals, trying to get it to a slipstream. You can super tuck the position, but it's a tricky thing to do, and you risk being disengaged when it levels out once again. So as our riders go down onto this slope, we're going to take a look up from above. Ross making his way into this group, and they're going to come around this left turn here. So as they come around the left hand turn, that group really has started to thin out. It's strung out behind. The pressure on at the front. Kogan are reabsorbed into this group. Hyam is in here. Sonex in here. Hyam's in here. Smith, Mr. Smith in here as well. Let's have a little bit of a look. Looks like Kenny once again making the cut. Wood making the cut. We've covered 26.6 of the 36 kilometers, and that means these riders really are pushing on. The speed at the moment 54 kilometers per hour. Okay, it's -1 gradient, but you know what? It looks like it is going to come down to a group. Can anyone break away on these hills on the way in? So we're taking up less than 10k to the end of the ride. Remember, our riders will be calling down when we go in through the finish line, UCI finish line this time. We'll be staying with them a little bit longer after that, as I think it's Matt Stevens just up near the front here. Let's see if we can just keep an eye on the very front of this group. So we're going to do a fast scroll up here. Let's see who we've got up near the front. It's a fast moving group. We really struggle to get our cameras right up to the front. It's a bit like having to shove a motorbike through this group at the moment. That is how tough it is. It looks to me nicely running around. Looks like Aaron Stone and Richardson Trek just moving around. Matt Bostock's in the mix, just starting to drift back. Paul wanting to just drop it back a little bit. Murphy moving it up on the side here. Hanley up onto the front at the moment. Fulton's in this group as well, nicely moving through. Kirkpatrick there, no one wants to get drunk. You can see the U-turn coming, top right of your screen. Currently it's flat. You go underneath the underpass, underneath the factory buildings, you go around the U-turn. You're heading back to that big cobbled climb, that climb of Libby Hill. And that is very, very tough stuff. And that is where we're going to see what these riders are able to do. So, do you know what? It's really interesting to see. Kogan has clearly got his legs on form at the moment. He's swapped them out. He's done a Sean Pertwee, or it should be the character played by him. He's got rid of his bad legs. He's put on his good legs here, and looks like he is not going to be messed with. He's right up at the front of the group. He's not giving too much away. As soon as the pressure goes on, he just drops only a little bit back. He's not dropping too far. He doesn't want to get caught behind any of the splits which could occur as they make their way up onto this climb. So at the moment, just watching Joe Jackson, the rider, just making his way up. He's moving up into third position. Meanwhile, Hughes coming through here. Murphy on the front. Stanleyland on the front. Russ Downing in this group. Can he hold on to them? Who's your money on? Well, it could well be Doxy. Doxy's one hell of a climber. So we'll just go to move across towards Copeland at the moment. So just watching Copeland out to the left-hand side here. We know he's we know he can climb. Has he got the power to stay with these boys? Looks like Williams is on a bit of a charge here, because his watts per kilo just shot through the roof. Quirk is in this group as well. The question is, who is going to be able to lead this out on the front? Looks like Quirk going backwards now. Let's get on with Russ quickly here. And just to see, you can just see there's a plethora of power-ups coming from these riders at the moment going up this hill. So taking a camera shot look up from Russ kicking here. He's at 4.3 watts per kilo. You can just see up in front Radcliffe really is pushing on. It looks like Bostock's leading him up over this line at the moment. So it looks like Bostock's the man up at the front. He's got Fraser for company, and Fraser has now gone for this. Fraser's trying to go clear of Bostock, and it could well be that the man on the Tron bike on the front is going to be Fraser. 8.5 watts per kilo. He's just dropped down to 7.5. Can he maintain this all the way up to the line? It's looking good. He's going to come over the line first. Is he going to beat the 110? Now Doxy on his way through. Oh, it looks like he has absolutely, he's gone faster than Fraser has gone and beaten it. It was a 110.7 to a 110.0.7. That was just nuts, because all of a sudden 15 watts per kilo starts getting kicked out there. Fraser just came through. Now he put 9 watts per kilo out consistently, 8.3, 8.5, 8.7. Absolutely mad. You could just see he was kicking all the way up there. Even when he backed off, he only backed off to about 7.5, and that has opened the gap behind this group of Bostock, Coyle, Kogan. It looks like it's Copeland who is leading the charge. So as we look back, let's go to group number 2 on the road. And group number 2 is going to be being led out at the moment. I think it is Wood who is going to lead this out. We're just going to take a little look. It's Alan who's got it by the look of it. So Alan is right up at the front. Copeland is there. Coyle is and Kogan are about 3 seconds down the road. So at the moment we're with Alan. He's on the purple Tron bike there. So we go up on to the top. We're going to take a little bit of a look up here, try and get a little bit, just get a bit of picture breakup as we go through. And at the moment this is a group of 4 as they come onto this next sprint up the cobbles. Copeland's going backwards here. Alan's leading this chasing group out. And you can see they've gone round Bostock. They've swept up Bostock, still in front. It's now a group of 3 riders. So Bostock on this steep climb, getting passed by Alan. Alan moving up into 4th place. So Kogan up the road, 5 seconds up the road with Fraser and Coyle. Now Bostock, was he just saving his energy for when he came over the top? Alan's responding at 4.7 watts. He doesn't want to let Bostock go clear here. And just taking a little look down here, it looks like Alan and the Tron bike just going onto the back of the Canyon Pro, who is super tucking at the moment. He's saving his energy. He's doing 67 kilometers an hour. It's -7%, and you could just see that super tuck coming, but he drops out of it nice and early. He doesn't want to get caught out as they go round this corner, because as they come round the corner, it's going to go up again very shortly, and it loses that -3 gradient. They can't afford to lose that gradient. Once that -3 goes, you come to a standstill pretty quickly if you haven't got the power on. There's always a little bit of lag. You'll know it yourself if you've ridden the Zwift. You know it if you're out on the road. You get that lag. And it looks to me like the work being done here by Bostock has swept up those in front. Here he comes round the side. So it looks to me, no, I take it all back. They've just got them now, and it looks like it has all come together. Kogan just a little bit further in front here, and he is with Copeland. So it looks like those groups came together, and straight away Kogan has gone on the front here. So Kogan now has got the lead. He's got the very, very front here. And when we've been saying watch out for Copeland, he's in the mix here. Bostock backed off a little bit. Did he back off at the right time? So we're going to try and shoot back a little bit. This is our leading group. Is there anybody behind them? Is there anybody in sight? It looks like it's 9 seconds back. Now our leader over the line is going to come from this elite group of riders. So here we go. Rob Copeland on the front in the green at the moment. Right behind him then Matt Bostock in the dark blue without helmet on. Then you've got Fraser on the Tron bike with the purple wheels with the white helmet on. Then you've got Kogan with the black helmet, the dark blue strip. Currently with the feather going, that's Hughes who is kicking his way up here. As you can see, Hughes working his way right up through. Radcliffe has gone now though. Radcliffe is the man at the front. He's used that power up and he's used it to get himself up in front, but we've got a long way to go to the top of this climb. He's got to come around this left hand, he's got to turn, he's got to get himself into the line. Remember, the ride is going to continue onwards slightly from the line, but he can see the gantry in front of him. Has he done enough to clear them? No, he hasn't, because they're right behind him now. Copeland just going into the red there at 8 watts per kilo. He's just dropped a little bit down, but you can just see here Dan Cogan is with him as well. So here we go. Who's going to come over the top here? It looks like Copeland has gone for it at the moment. So Copeland's got it, and I think we're going to see the end here of the rider. That is going to be Radcliffe. Radcliffe's not going to have the power to stay with him. They're just dropping in behind. You can just see as they go in towards the line. Who's got the power? Who's going to kick here? Coyle is kicking hard. He just got it into the 8. Radcliffe's gone in the 9. Bostock is currently at 5.5. Can he answer Radcliffe? But Bostock's currently put the power on. He's at 10.2. He's not going to get in though. Look at that. Radcliffe, Coyle, then Bostock. They've scalped Bostock as they came underneath that time. So it was Coyle going through, then Radcliffe. And then Bostock taking third on the way through there. The riders are finishing as they hit the line at this time. Fantastic. Setting new records on the way out and round that course as well. And you can see the guys are just going to keep rolling now in towards the finish. Now we're going to take a look back because we know that we've got a few riders just coming up and through. Looks like Jackson and Murphy have come through along with Waddington. They're setting new PBs. Doxy's setting a new PB behind Stanyland. Russ Downing, new PB for that section of course as well, and it looks like these riders are all getting some fantastically fast times. Let's take a little bit of a look here. Looks like Kempy's in here. Looks like out of the cellar going to get a few in here. Kenning going in. Kempy's in here. Is he going to be able to hold on to the line? They're all looking to get a fastest time. Hyam in front's just got one. Are they going to get one as they come in and through? So they come through and look at that. You can just see PR. The chain gang does the business. Hilbert coming through there at 21.54. The youngster on the back doing the business here. Well done, Chris. Great ride, mate. One day I will stop taking the mickey out of you about goats, I promise, but it's going to be a little while yet. Kirkpatrick comes through. He's done a 22-minute ride. Burt coming through here as well. Spencer now. Is Carl up to the line yet? Not quite. It's not going to be long before he gets in there. And you can just see Downham's in this group. Kaplinski's in the group. They can just see that gantry in front. They're all pushing hard here to get in to and through that line. 4.8 watts per kilo from Aaron Stone. Good ride, Aaron. Matt Stevens is not too far away. Let's see if we can get to Matt. Here he comes in towards the line. So come on, Matt. We know you've got the legs to do this. So you can talk a good talk. You can ride a good ride. Absolutely cracking ride by Matt Stevens once again. And just imagine just how fast he'll be once all that hair gets cut off as well. So well done, Matt. Great to see you coming in and through and setting a new PR on the Donny chain gang. Always good to have these riders. Now Barracliff coming in. Is he going to set a new PR? I think he has. He's just watching Fox. He's currently at 30 seconds down, and then it's going to be Kennison. So Rob Kennison here on the climb. He's a little way back here by the look of it. Let's have a little bit of a look at Rob. So here we go. He's going to take a little bit of a look back. And looks like he's cruising in here. 3.4 watts per kilo. Fox coming in at 3.9. We've got Brown, and then it is going to be the man who we don't dare mention. Legendary like the Stig. Well, have we answered the question? I don't know. Is he the artist based in Wakefield that folds paper for a living? Is he just some retired scrounger sitting at home pretending to be pro? Tell you something, he's putting a hell of a ride today. Andy Singleton, good ride, mate, because he's going to come in and I think Mr. Worth, you're eating your words at home here, mate, because he's doing the business, and I think his revenge has been done by his legs there. So Singleton on his way in here. Here he comes in towards the finish. This is going to be his entire TV time ever.com going in for a while. So here he goes on his way into the finish, making his way through. Well done, Andy. Good ride. Almost getting rolled on the line there by Harrison, who comes through with him. Looks like Barry Clay coming through, setting another good time here. Chris Gale with the fastest time. Just looking for Jess Evans. Jess coming in and through. Well done, Jess. and then it's going to be a Mark Thwaites, probably the next of our riders heading towards the line. So Thwaites is through, and looks like Allen and Clayton are coming behind. I think this is going to be just making his way in. Barnard and Cooper a little bit out from the line, so Cooper just making his way in. We're going to have a little bit of a look back. Let's see who we can see. I think Dan Evans isn't too far away, neither is Ted. So Ted in this group here. So taking a little look at Ted in the blue there as Hobson just comes around him, and Ted is going to come in to the finish. Well done, Ted. And you see just inside the barriers, just making his way up towards the line. Meanwhile, looks like Dan Evans is behind. He's making his way through as well. Matt Manicky, Shelley Childs, not too far off the group. Mr. Allen thinks his turbo's gone down. I'm sure that's not the case. So just going across the line, we've got Ted and Mr. Hobson go through. Let's take a little bit of a look back. This is Dan Evans coming in here. So well done, Dan, former National Hillclimb champion, absolutely doing the business, and once again coming through, getting well and truly walloped by Jess once again. So Jess taking the bragging rights, and I think that makes Dan the man who's cooking tea, or is it washing the pots at home? So just watching the riders through. Jay Bush just coming through here. So it's going to be Jacob just coming through. Good ride there, Jacob, just in front of Mr. Manicky. Manicky now making his way in towards that finishing line in front of Shelley Charles, just in front of the green women's jersey. That is Millie Skinner. So it looks like just coming in and through is Manicky. Shelley Charles just following in afterwards. So this is Shelley Charles who's come through. Just watching our next two riders come through, and looks to me like Adi Densher pacing Millie Skinner in here. Adi, who now has a hard time keeping up with Millie, just leading her in and through the line. So Millie going through in front of Mark Chamberlain. Looks like Craig Herring not too far away. Craig never a man short of words. Spinning his way in, certainly one of the regulars on the Facebook page. Don't forget to get onto the links on the Facebook page to all of our fantastic sponsors, to the guys from Grand Tour Coffee, to Halo, Pinarello, OTE Wahoo, HMT and Mallorca Cycling. Remember, of course, lots of discount codes, lots of ways where we're just trying to make sure that you get every chance to get the best discounts that you can. And remember, of course, these guys are supporting your sport, particularly the guys from the Badco Brewing Company, as we just see Kingdom now going through the line. Good ride there. Kingdom comes through on that Tron bike, still super smooth. 88 revs per minute at the end of that, going through 175 beats per minute, nice and smooth there, and you can just see those revs hardly changing at all as Kingdom comes through in front of Smithy from the out of the saddle. Luke Stone, the man with the no-handed warm-up, goes through, and I think he's going to be in front of Mr. Smith in a nice little group here. So this group could well be leaving it right down to the line to kick away. It looks like it is going to be Flanders who's kicking in. Fraser's gone for it here. Behind him, then it's going to be Genther, then Mark Smith, Oral, and then I think it's going to be Sonia Ilsley who's going through. So Sonia goes through the line there. Good ride by Sonia, riding in that white and green kit there for the Bolsover District Cycling Club. And coming through just in front, is going to be in front of Brownlee, who's just a little bit further back. Tiger Brownlee coming through from Tri Central. So good rides, everyone, as we just see Tiger go in and through. Good stuff, buddy. He's looking certainly very smooth as he comes in, just knocking those watts back. 60 revs per minute, 270 watts. That's a slow pedal race, but it certainly gets the power down, that is for sure. Let's take a look back. There's Mr. Horse. Andy coming through. Don't think Andy's got much company around him. It could well be Edwards is not too far behind. Let's take a little look. There's Edwards. So not quite Billy, no mates. That's certainly something Andy's never going to be accused of as he comes through. Andy's phone book is a bit like mine. He's been around the sport so long. It's rather thick and full of lots of names. It's always great to have a chat and always good to catch up. And I had a little listen to Andy's chat with Ben Swift last Thursday. I had a listen to that out walking the dog last night. In fact, thinking about Ben's ride in that Ineos race that was on at the weekend. Andy asking some very insightful questions, and really good to get a nice insight with Mr. Hawes as he was talking with Ben. So these riders just on the way up. Andy just starting to leave Edwards and Shaw behind. Edwards at 1 second, Shaw at 2, but you can literally see them right behind him there on that gap. The rider just coming into shot is Bennett. He's currently about 4th wheel. So it looks like Andy distancing Brian Smithy as they came in. Brian, of course, been out regularly on the bike scene, lots of catching up from his Instagram feed. And don't forget, lots of the riders, lots of the figures of the sport on Instagram very regularly. Maybe getting the chance to get the stories out there that they don't necessarily always do when the racing is in the middle of the action. And we often in the sport, I have to say, neglect our social media duties when we're flat out doing the job, and it's great to get the chance to catch up with people, whether that's Andy's horse talks, or whether it's Brian's out riding, getting the miles in. Good to see him looking so lean. And Brian just on his way up here, 2.8 watts per kilo, kicking out 235, 240 watts at the moment. Come on, Brian, get a heart rate monitor on. We want to see just how hard you're working here. He's certainly putting out the power and keeping the revs nice and high. You can tell, isn't it? It's probably that 92, 93 revs per minute going up there. Don't go dropping down now just because I've told you he's out of the saddle, giving it a little bit of a kick to go up. Don't do commentator's curse on me, Brian. You know better than that. Brian, of course, one of the good guys as well, and definitely one of the people I always look forward to hearing on the commentary. So Brian heading in towards the line. If we take a little bit of a spin round, you can see Brian's just got a little bit of a view of the gantry just coming up in front of him. So Brian just making his way around there, the retro bike, I think just underneath. But carbon wheels, of course, and one of the great wonders of Zwift, you can always get yourself out there. So Brian has sitting 69th place in the course overall, in front of Horsey last time around. A little bit further back when it comes to the 23rd Street, sitting in 71st place. Brian got himself, let's see where he was in the sprint. Did he manage to push through those 200 metres quick? Looks like 74, so definitely Mr. Consistent. So Brian makes his way in, and just going to watch him come in and underneath that UCI gantry in Richmond. So a few riders still out on course, and we're going to be bringing those riders in. Don't forget, guys, support the people who support the Donny Chain Gang. We've got some great riders going out, lots of stars going out there. The Bag Company Brewing and Distilling Company, Bagco, absolutely gorgeous beer, crafted in North Yorkshire. Great gin as well, if that's your tipple, and all available online. You can go onto their website. You can get the links from the Downing Cycling Facebook page from Russ as well. Watch out for the links for the next events. We're going to have some more great sponsors. We see Timpson now on the way, just a little bit further down the course, along with Killingsworth. We're going to drop back a little bit though, and watch our next riders coming in towards the line. So this looks like this is going to be Victoria Chavara. So Victoria, I don't think I've always got your pronunciation exactly spot on. We always do our best, but maybe need more of the Grand Tour coffee to keep me fueled up. Albeit 7 o'clock at night here, whereas I think for you in Costa Rica it's somewhat earlier in the morning. So Victoria, smooth revs here, 72, 73 revs per minute. No doubt making a bomb sight of the living room. Not quite sure you can get that robot vac to tidy it up though, Victoria, so might have to be a bit of manpower as well once you've refueled. Great to see Victoria back, and all of our riders going in front of Borelli. Borelli now making his way up to the line. Behind is Johnson, and Johnson now onto that climb. It's coming in towards that left hand turn, and you can just see sitting on that Zwift bike, using it up at the draft, using getting rid of the power up. Lots of our riders will get rid of a power up they don't want on the way in. A little bit further back, looks like Prince and Crehan. Looks like Mr. Crehan once again. I tell you, he finds people. He's great at riding with a group. He's absolutely spot on. He always seems to manage to find a group or a pair. He's a very smart rider when it comes to riding with people, making sure that they use their strength wisely, because he sits with another rider all the way through, and you can always see Crehan just sitting there working together. So they're on the way up. Looks like Prince just pushing on now at 2.3, 2.4 watts per kilos, kicking out just over 300 watts. times. So meanwhile, let's have a little bit of a look back at Crehan. He's just dropped a little bit further back. Let's have a little bit of a look up. We can get it from a rider's eye view. So this is from Trevor. This is the cam mounted on his helmet. This is the view. We can just see Prince at the moment just in front. And let's take a little bit of a look of where that is. If we're looking behind his avatar, so at the moment Crehan working his way up that climb, just following that wheel of Prince, kicking out 1.92 watts per kilo, 2.30, 250 watts, 7% gradient here as these two riders make the way in. A little bit further back as we see these two come in is going to be Mr. Bolt. Let's have a look at Mr. Bolt now. Where's Bolt? He's on this climb. He's on that 11% section. It's horrible. I've just crawled my way. It's been a horrible day out. Keying out 165 watts here and working out. It's definitely a course that is going to make life hard work, and that is exactly me going up the climb, mate. Because it is definitely the easy way to do it, is to zigzag and try and take some of that gradient out. So let's drop back to Crehan, just hanging back a little bit still from Prince. He's not closed that gap down, but he's not let it go at the moment. And we can just take a little bit of a look here as they come up and through. You can just see Prince in front here, Crehan behind. 1 second was the gap. I think he's closed that down as Crehan now. So Crehan currently trying to close the gap down. That this gradient is steep stuff here. The gap has come down. Crehan closing down on the back wheel of Prince. So we can see a sprint between these two as they come in. As we see them move up towards the top, we take a little bit of a look out on the map. You can see they're going to go past that start, and then they're going to be heading back in towards the start-finish line once again. So our riders are coming up, and certainly looks like he's doing okay. So Crehan now up and into the lead, just in front of Prince, and we can see going to take this left-hand turn. So here they come. This is the final corner before they go in towards line. It levels off this ridiculously steep gradient of 8-9%. Why aren't all courses flat? Goes up and over. I can't really say that. I haven't ridden so many national hill climbs. I must have been mad when I did 13 in a row. In fact, I definitely was mad. I was definitely a lot lighter and skinnier and far more committed to going uphill fast, that's for sure. So the riders on the way in, Crehan and Prince doing a better job than me these days going up the hill, and now heading towards the gantry to get themselves in and through. If you've been out and riding on the Donny chain gang, thank you very much, guys. We really want to improve the coverage and keep bringing you all of these pictures and keep you up to date. Don't forget, if you feel you could be involved, you could help, then don't hesitate to get in touch. We're always looking to up the power of the computing and power and the servers behind this, which means that we'll be able to bring you even better coverage and even faster coverage with more detail and more stats as well. So if you want to get involved, don't hesitate to get in touch with me, Matt at Matt Fix a Pain at the Facebook and on Twitter. And don't forget, of course, you can get hold of me, Matt at Full Speed Events on email. It's fullspeedevents.com. You can get hold of Russ and Dean at Downing Cycling as well. And make sure you get yourselves onto the Facebook page for the Donny Chain Gang, powered by Downing Cycling, with me, Matt Payne from Full Speed Events, bringing you all of the action. So as we see them come through the line, I'll say a massive thank you to you for watching. A big thank you to our fantastic sponsors who have helped to bring all the action to you here on Richmond. Don't forget, Thursday we're out on the Greater London Flat. I'm looking forward to seeing all of our riders out there. From me, Matt Payne, thank you for joining us. Keep yourself safe, and we will see you on Thursday.